Welcome back to the JCPod, partner with Stare Down Sports. I'm your host, Jaden Chandler Parnell, and hey, happy belated Father's Day to everyone who celebrated. It was a wild weekend in the sports world, especially for Father's Day. We had some wild collapses on the golf course. We have a champion in the NBA crowned. 18th all-time for the Celtics. Shout out to them. We have a Game 5 tonight with the Panthers potentially being able to close out and winning a championship for them. I think they're the only major sports team in Florida or Miami that doesn't have a championship. The Heat have a championship. The Miami Marlins. I'm forgetting another game I just can't think off the top of my head. The Dolphins have one, I believe. Right? I think they do, but yeah, so basically this is one of the last ones. So they got a big game in that tonight, and man, we got some stuff happening in the NFL. So a lot of stuff to talk about today. Should be a really fun one. But without any further ado, let's just hop right in. I guess we should start with. Should we go chronological order? We'll talk about a little bit of golf to start, and then we'll get into the NBA. When it comes to golf, wow, Rory. Rory McIlroy had a rough and tough start to the weekend. Shout out to, before I even get to that point, shout out Bryson DeChambeau, wins his second U.S. Open, was right behind Rory the whole time, and when he needed to take advantage, he did. He did not, I think he had 5 of 15 fairways with his driver. Bryson did on the final round, so very, very tough round for him driving, which is usually a strong suit, but he's able to play well everywhere else. He had a really insane shot on 18 that was followed up by an even more insane bunker shot to win it, pretty much. But none of that potentially could have happened if one man didn't decide. Well, obviously he didn't decide to do it, but one man had a little bit of trouble come his way. Rory McIlroy. This is something that's just wild because this is one of the things that, I really wonder if he's going to come back from this. I think he should be able to at least play. I think he would be able to, potentially, but I don't know, man. That was tough. If hole 16, he pretty much has the lead, and he misses, I would say, a 5-foot putt. Now, don't get me wrong, the greens in the U.S. Open were wild, but, oh, man, it felt like he probably should have made that putt. He misses it, so then it becomes all tied up. And then right after that, on 18, he literally just has to make the putt, and he's tied with Bryson going into the final hole. It's on the final hole. He hits this putt in, like right there, the little green right here. He rolls it in, goes into the green. He's at least tied with Bryson, and if Bryson doesn't par the next hole, then they're going to playoff overtime in golf. But that did not happen. Rory misses an even close. I would say this one I think was even slightly closer than the other one. Misses it just right. He ends up bogeying the hole. He ends up losing by 1 to Bryson, who, like I said, he had an amazing shot from under a tree where he basically couldn't. I mean, his swing was pretty much like this. That's like all he could do. He couldn't go back at all because he would have hit the tree. So he basically had like a little half chop swing that he sent it decently down the fairway, ends up in the sand. He has an insane 55-foot bunker shot from the sand that basically just goes up and down it's so simple. He just went up and down, and it lands right next to the hole pretty much. He puts it in for the win. Huge moment for him. Shout out to Bryson DeChambeau. Big win for him, honestly. Hope he makes the U.S. team because he has been playing some great golf. He's, I think, top 10 ranked in the world, and he's only played in the major events because of the live deal and everything, which is just absolutely insane. But so shout out to Bryson DeChambeau. And, man, tough weekend for Rory McIlroy, and especially those of you who bet on him because, man, realistically, Rory had it won. I think he's come out and said he just wants to win 4. Obviously, he wants to win more than that if he can, but he really wanted to win that 4th one, and he pretty much had it in his grasp. Played an amazing round of golf, pretty much, up until hole 16, and then he had 2 bad putts, one on 16, one on 18, that pretty much killed and destroyed his round. So, yeah, very, very tough for him. Scotty Scheffler. Horrid weekend for Scotty Scheffler. He was +7. Somehow made the cut pretty much because the cut dropped, and then he just didn't play the best weekend. So not the best weekend for the top 2 favorites because it was Scotty and then Rory, and both of them in different ways, but both of them had rough weekends. But man, like I said, shout out Bryson DeChambeau. Awesome win for him for the U.S. Open. Yeah, just sucks for Rory because it was literally right there in his hands pretty much, and he just kind of man, just hurt it. Also, shout out to me, who had Tommy Fleetwood, Bryson DeChambeau, Colin Morikawa, and Xander Schauffele all top 25 with Scotty Scheffler. Ah, man. That is tough, man. It was I don't even want to get into it. Tough one in the streets. But we're moving on now. Shout out to the Boston Celtics. We'll talk a little bit NBA. The Boston Celtics are your NBA champions of this year. Kind of a boring finals. This was the first. I don't know why I said it like that. Boring finals. This is one of the first ones in a while that I just didn't watch. I'll be honest. I don't think I watched more than I probably watched 2 minutes of Game 4, going into halftime when the Celtics were up a lot, just to see what was even happening in the game. But I'll be honest, I didn't really watch much of the series. I just figured Boston would win. I bet a few of the games. The score watched a little bit. I at least kept up with the games. I just didn't watch them with my own eyes. I kept up with them on the score and everything. And, just awesome win for the Celtics. They pretty much were the betting favorites to win it, I believe, this year, maybe right behind the Nuggets. But they were the favorites to win the East. They were told they had to win the East pretty much. It was expected of them. They did exactly what they were expected to. And then it came down to, hey, all right, now that the Mavs are in the finals, you got to beat the Mavs. They did exactly what they were supposed to. They beat the Mavs. They beat them in 5 games. I won't lie. I thought potentially 6, so 5 is not too crazy. I just can't believe that they went up 3-0. Obviously, they basically just no-showed up in Dallas. Assuming they wanted to win on their home floor, which they ended up did. They won by a shit ton. I actually don't remember the final score. Last time I remember looking, it was 78 to 120, I think, or something like that. Oh, I was way off. That might have been the other game. I was 88 to 106, but yeah, I was 78 to 100 something with a few minutes left to go. Shout out to Jason Tatum, 31, 8, and 11. Hurt my heart, man. I had Jason Tatum to have 5 assists in every game of the playoffs, and he would have if there wasn't a 40-point blowout in Game 4. So that hurt. But like I said, shout out to the Celtics. Jaylen Brown ends up being the Finals MVP. Shout out to him for winning the Eastern Conference Finals MVP and the Finals MVP. It was just a real team effort overall for the Celtics. They have one of the best starting fives in the NBA. It probably is the best starting five in the NBA if you have Kristaps Porzingis healthy. Derek White, he ends up chipping his tooth, and he's beyond valuable for them. The Bucks giving up Drew Holiday, and the Celtics being able to get Drew Holiday. Huge. I can't explain how huge that it was for them. There's just not much to say. This was almost expected of the Celtics. They were able to do it. It was a very impressive win, very, very good win by the Celtics. And now they have the most championships in the history of the NBA with 18. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum get their rings now. Now Jason Tatum for sure is going to get a max contract. I believe is it either $315 or $350. I forget which one it is, but he's going to make a shit ton of money coming here soon. And yeah, him and Jaylen Brown are going to be together for a while. I think they're both going to be on 6 years, 5 or 6 years, $300 million contracts. Most of the team is coming back next year, I believe. I don't know what the contract situations look like, but they're going to have to extend a lot of people. That's going to be a very expensive team to keep, but they were able to get it done. 2 of the, I think, youngest coaches ever to win the NBA Finals it's Wilt Chamberlain and Joe Mazzulla, I believe is the names. It's either Wilt Chamberlain and Joe Mazzulla, or it's Bill Russell and Joe Mazzulla. Either way, elite company for them to be in, so shout out to Joe Mazzulla. Pretty much taking over. This Celtics team has been slowly just been crafted and worked till it got to here. They probably, I think, we're a little bit early in 2018, 2019 when all that happened. 2020 probably still was a little too early. 2021 is when it really started. Should have started, but then by that point they were already still playing pretty good. And then they just had the crazy series with the Heat, where the Heat ended up taking them down, and then Jason Tatum gets hurt that series, which is it's just crazy. They could have been in the finals 3 out of 4 years. I think it's 2 out of 4 instead, and the Warriors one felt a little too early. They kind of got robbed in the Heat one, and by robbed I mean they just didn't play good at all, and the Heat were able to take it off them. And then this year they were able to come back a lot stronger, a lot more focused, and they were able to. Yes, there was injuries, but they were able to take advantage of all of it, and just generally they played really good basketball. Throughout the playoffs, they lost 1 game to the Heat, 1 game to the Celtics, 1 game to the Mavs. And then past that, I would say the Heat win in Game 2 was probably the best win of any of the teams, and that's not me being biased. Genuinely, with how well they shot the 3-ball that game, that's probably the best win of any team out of the whole playoffs against the Celtics. And sure enough, it's the Miami Heat. But past that, I guess the Mavs. The only reason I say the Mavs win isn't as impressive because obviously, yes, they're down 3-0. They need to come back and win that game, but It seemed like the Celtics came out like so flat. At least in game 2, like the series is only 1-0. Like at that point, the Celtics were up 3-0. It's kind of already like, yeah, we got this at least in Boston if we don't get it here. But like I said, shout out to the Celtics. They're the new NBA champions. They get a look to maybe go back-to-back next year, which I'm sure they'll be the betting favorites. And now I'll focus on the NBA to the draft. I potentially might have a buddy coming on to talk a little NBA with me. I'll have to keep you updated on that. There's some working in the roots, as we'll say, and it's not the red beard. But yeah, quickly looking at the NBA real quick to see if they have anything. I want to see if they have anything for next year. So yeah, they have Celtics to win the East next year at plus 125, which makes sense. NBA draft is upcoming as well. I still don't know what's going to happen there. It sounds like Reed Shepherd, Donovan Clingan, there's potential that they might get drafted number 1 overall as well. I truly have zero idea, though, so don't listen to me. But I will probably put a little bit of Reed Shepherd plus 2,400. I mean, why not? This is the one draft where it's like, I keep hearing, like, basically cut out the top 1 through 7, and the draft pretty much starts at 8. That's what this draft would be. Yeah, we'll have to see. I truly don't know. The NBA draft is June 26th. Holy shit, that's soon. So yeah, I'm probably going to jump on this Reed Shepherd number potentially here soon and just see. I mean, I'm going to take him to go number 1 overall. I don't have any insights, nothing like that. 24-1 is some huge odds for a draft that anything can truly happen, so why not? But yet again, just finish off, shout out to the Celtics. We will now probably move on to the NFL news because a lot of what we ended with today, I'll save the WNBA for next episode. Just to talk a little bit of standing and what's been going on since the draft me and my boy Rowan had. For those of you who do not know, me and my buddy Rowan did a WNBA draft where we each drafted teams for the rest of the season. We're going to make a little game out of it. There's not going to be anything for the winner this time, but if we like how it goes, there's going to be winners and prizes and shit like that going forward. So, very, very excited. But yeah, I got like the first 2 rounds went kind of well for me. I got the Liberty and got the Aces. So, I'm pretty happy about that. So, we're going to have to watch. I even got the Chicago Sky, too. I had a few good teams I like, so we're going to talk a little WNBA. Like I said, we'll do that on Thursday. But for today, pretty much got a week's worth of NFL news to catch up on. So we're just going to pretty much burn through this. This could be I could do this for the next 10 to 15 minutes and we could be done. Or it could be as simple as I go for 45 minutes. I truly don't know. I didn't fully look ahead to see how much news there is. I kind of have a general idea. I know the general stuff I want to talk about, but I'm not 100% sure if there's some stuff I missed or not. So we'll have a little bit of fun with it. So, yeah, but that's what we're going to end the show with this NFL news, kind of just talk about what's going on in the NFL. College football, by the way, 10 weeks away. So, probably a week or 2 from now, I'll probably start giving out some futures on that, looking through that. NFL future episode coming sometime next month here soon as well. I'm very excited. It's pretty much almost football time, about 80 days of the NFL-ish, 80, 79, and then we got 10 weeks till college football. Can't wait, man. Cannot wait. But yeah, moving into the NFL news. Apparently, Austin Eckler said that, man, I won't lie, it's really weird to see him in a Washington Commanders uniform. That's just so weird. Apparently, though, he came out and said that his departure from the Chargers had to do with the Chargers wanted a running back who could handle 300 carries per year. And he didn't expect to be the best fit with the new system. You can kind of see how they've been building the team so far this offseason. He said on the Up and Adams show, went out and drafted a tackle first round, brought in some bigger backs over from Baltimore. Like, hey, they want a guy who can handle the ball off to 300 times a year. And look, I haven't had that capacity to do that. That's not my game. That's not how Austin Eckler is going to be on the field, be best on the field. So that kind of makes sense then why he wasn't the best fit for there then. Especially, I won't lie, he still probably would have been a good fit, but if he's not going to want to play as much time, and he's good enough to be the main starter back, so if he wasn't going to start, makes sense. But yeah, that kind of, opens a little bit more eyes into why he wasn't with the Chargers and why they weren't as, crazy as pursuing him. And it makes a lot more sense now, because I was curious why they would just kind of let a guy they love go, but if that's true that they wanted to give him more carries out and he's just not going to do that, then it's like, oh, okay, that's a legitimate reason then. Apparently the 49ers have come out and said, or I guess they haven't come out, but on a video that Brandon Ayuk released, he said that the 49ers don't want him. That's assuming, I think it's what most people assume he's talking about. But like I said, I'm not going to get too crazy with this because the 49ers do take a while to sign their guys. They usually wait until late in the camp. But It is interesting because they did sign Juwan Jennings back, I believe. They gave Christian McCaffrey more money in his contract. They drafted another receiver as well. So they've given some signs off like, hey, if we need to move on from Ayuk, we have no issue with it at all. But I'm not 100% sure if they're going to end up moving on from him or not. He's for sure the number one receiver. It just seems like they don't have a total agreement on the price yet for money. So I just don't know. I'm genuinely kind of concerned that, hey, he might end up moving on, and I'd love him to come to the Colts. But I just genuinely don't know. And my sense is that they'd want to keep him and they don't want to let him go. It's just because we said the 49ers signed Bosa right before. Like I said, they signed Nick Bosa right before camp and everything, and I think they signed. Who was it? They signed somebody else late last year. I can't think of who it was. So we'll have to see. The 49ers do like to do their stuff late, but we'll never know. Apparently, the end-season edition of Hard Knocks is going to follow the whole AFC North. That should be somewhat interesting. Instead of just having one team following the whole division. I don't lie. Hard Knocks isn't fully my thing. So it should be interesting for those people who are going to actually watch it super in-depth. I do like following the in-depth stuff and all that with NFL. It's really, really interesting to me. But when it comes to Hard Knocks, it's kind of like, I'm good. That's pretty much the best way to put it. Apparently, oh my gosh. Apparently for the 2025 draft, there's some Airbnbs charging up to $18,000 per night. Hey, that lets you know that the NFL business is booming, because I bet you there's people paying that shit without even thinking. Let's see. Anything too big? Apparently there's a lawsuit that's been going on with Roger Goodell in the NFL, and then it's for Sunday Ticket, pretty much, basically saying that the subscribers pay way too much for Sunday Ticket, pretty much, and then Goodell's basically come out and defended, saying it's a premium product, which I won't lie, pretty much in this lawsuit, I just don't know how they're gonna get money out of this. Apparently, they're filing for $21 billion, I believe, is the lawsuit. But it's pretty much, what all this is about is that the NFL Sunday Ticket's too expensive, but the NFL's going to argue and be like, hey, we give out this many free games a year. If you want the specifics of being able to watch all these teams and watching this specific stuff, yes, you got to pay more for it. Pretty much a very, very dumbed-down version, I believe, of what's going on, which I'm assuming they're going to settle for some type of money. I just know for sure the NFL ain't paying the full $21 billion for this, so I'm curious to see what ends up coming of this. If it ends up becoming that Sunday Ticket becomes cheaper, that would be also pretty cool to come out of it, but I don't know if I see that happening. The NFL just keeps making money. I don't see them just dropping their prices and deciding not to make money anymore. I hope it at least stays the same at worst, but and I won't lie, personally for me too, I'm a big red zone guy, so it's not as bad for me. Because I usually can keep up with game flows at least decently well with red zone. I'll admit there's some games that I do completely miss, but usually I at least am able to hopefully get them on something else. But yeah, for the most part, usually my setup on Sundays is I'll have the Colts on the side, Colts on my laptop, which is Colts on the laptop or on the other side screen, and then I have red zone on the main screen. But I'm usually mainly paying attention to the Colts, but I have the red zone going on as well. Especially, I won't lie, Colts games at 1 o'clock with red zone was tough because it's I got 8 or 9 games over here. Thankfully 8 now because the Colts are over here, but then I have the 9th over here. It's a lot to handle, so yeah, that's when Sunday Ticket comes in handy for those people who like to watch the specific games and they have any choice of what they want to watch, versus if you pick Red Zone, it's well, you're going to get shown some stuff sometimes you don't want to see. Ain't nobody trying to watch Bears-Panthers last year, but sometimes Red Zone has to show it. But yeah, regardless, though, Sunday, with this lawsuit, I don't know what's going to come from it. I would assume that about apparently it says if the NFL is liable, a jury could award $7 billion in damage, but the number could balloon up to $21 billion. I don't know if it's going to get that high. I'm assuming there's going to be some settlement, something's going to be figured out. Apparently McVay, that the Rams of last year reminded him why he left coaching. He felt exposed after the 2022 season. Last season apparently brought back a lot of fun for him, which was pretty interesting for the Rams. The Rams did look a little bit better last year, and they were a lot younger, but no, 10-7, and they made the playoffs, which isn't bad at all. But they lost Aaron Donald now, which is a very, very huge loss. Man, that still was crazy that they're gonna not have Aaron Donald anymore. Cameron Hayward said he wants to be a Steeler for the rest of his career, but he also has admitted that he understands how the NFL business works. So if he has to play somewhere else, he will. But he wants to be a Steeler for the rest of his life. Buggs was arrested again. If you remember, I talked about Isaiah Buggs being arrested a few whiles ago. Like 2 weeks ago, I think, for having the issue with the animals in his yard or anything. And now apparently he's being arrested on charge of domestic violence / burglary. I'm not going to try to say it again. I don't know why I'm saying burglary. I don't know why I'm saying it weird. So yeah, now it's in my own. Now I'm in my own head, so I'm not going to say that word anymore. Domestic violence and burglary. Jesus Christ! I just made myself tongue tied. Anyway, he's apparently he's on. What do you? Oh, there are no other details about the rest, but the Chiefs were aware of the case, but just signed a comment. Man, that's really tough for him because he's been. Rashee Rice faces 8 felony charges from a high-speed crash in Dallas, and offensive lineman Trubrika Godric and Wayne Morris were arrested last month in Kansas on misdemeanor of marijuana. That one's not nearly as bad, but the Chiefs are having a lot of issues right now with some of the players on their team. Obviously, some guys are from the Super Bowl team last year, some guys are new guys, but regardless, there's a lot of drama going around the NFL. But yeah, domestic violence and burglary is a big, big issue. Yeah, and it's the second time he's been arrested now in 2 months. I know the first one didn't. I don't know how bad it seemed compared to this, but not a good sign. Apparently, McDonald, the new coach for the Seahawks, he said that Jackson Smith and JCPod is going to be more of a focus in his second year, which I would see as more as like him and DK Lockett getting more of the targets, and then I think Tyler Lockett's role is probably going to go down slightly just because he's a little bit older. But I think what's going to happen with Tyler Lockett, he's going to be like a lesser version of Keenan Allen, like possession-wise, where Keenan Allen got like 150,000 catches a year. He's probably only going to get about 100,000, not 150,000. But I still see Lockett doing decent, but I feel like that Jackson Smith and JCPod is going to take over just slightly bit more in his role, and then obviously here soon it's going to be his role entirely. Apparently, T. Higgins is expected at training camp. He did sign the franchise tender, so they signed him to a 1-year deal. 1 year, $21.8 million deal. He becomes an unrestricted free agent in 2025, and I'm not going to lie. It sounds like he's going to be gone. So it sounds like T. Higgins is going to be the one who's leaving the Bengals because they're probably going to have to pay Joe Burrow. They're going to have to pay, which they will pay Joe Burrow for sure. They're going to have to pay Jamar Chase. They will for sure. Hendrickson's won some money as well, and they didn't pay him. Apparently, Higgins won a similar deal to what Michael Pittman got, which was $70 million per year or $70 million contract. But I think he has a 3-year deal, so it's about 20. Well, I think like 20ish a year, something like that. And apparently, the Bengals reportedly never reached the $20 million per year mark, and that's about when the issue started. So it sounds like a little bit of an issue of Bengals being slightly cheap, but at the same time, they also besides, they have a really, really good receiver room. I know they lost Tyler Boyd, and they at least still have T. Higgins for this year. But once they lose T. Higgins, that is still a big loss. But they have a pretty good receiver room, I won't lie. Let me look this up, because I can remember some of the guys' names, but after the draft and everything, I want to make sure that I got everybody's names. But, I mean, like, they should still be fine. I mean, even losing T. Higgins. They did lose as well. I forgot. They traded in Zach Moss for Joe Mixon, which will be a very interesting not trade, obviously. They signed they let Joe Mixon go, and they signed Moss. But curious to see how it goes. But yeah, they got Jermaine Burton, Jamar Chase, Mike Gesicki, T. Higgins, Tanner Hudson, Andre Yosivas. Is it Yosivas? Yeah, it's Yosivas. Andre Yosivas, Trenton Irwin, Charlie Jones. Drew Sample. They actually have a really, really good receiving room. And with Joe Burrow is good enough to elevate the talent. So, even though you want a really, really good guy as T. Higgins is, because it helps out your offense that much more, Joe Burrow is going to be able to manage without it. So, obviously, they want to keep T. Higgins around, but, yeah, with this franchise tag being signed, it sounds like both sides are kind of getting a little bit mad with each other. Might not be the case. Tony Jefferson comes out of retirement. He's going to sign with the Chargers. Apparently, the 30-year-old had a tryout during the Chargers minicamp, and that concluded last Thursday, and he ended up signing with the team. He will be the 15th for him. He made the Cardinals roster as an undrafted free agent in 2013. He's played for the Ravens, 49ers, and Giants. Interesting. Shout out to Tony Jefferson for coming back to football. Maybe he just had a little bit more left to give to the game. Trevor Lawrence has a massive deal. I can't remember if we talked about it or not, but we'll hear in a minute. Because I'm going to probably scroll by here in a minute again with the actual numbers because I don't remember what the contract numbers were. The Chiefs' new Super Bowl rings have 529 diamonds, 38 rubies. That's absolutely insane. That is a shit ton of diamonds. Jeez, man, that's a lot of diamonds. Okay, but yeah. Calais Campbell's going to sign with the Dolphins. That's the news I want to talk about next. Huge news. They lost. Or not lost, excuse me. They let Christian Wilkins walk. Still one of the dumbest moves I think of this offseason so far is just letting him walk. But they at least signed Calais Campbell, which I think is a really, really, really good ad for them. I know he's 38, but I think he's going to be a really good veteran leader for some of the young guys. They're going to have to obviously get ready to play on the defensive line. So regardless, even if it's not a good stat move and he doesn't have the most amazing stats this year, it's going to be a really, really good move for the locker room and everything. So I do like this move by the Dolphins. Shout out to them. Good move. That one was good, but they should have kept Christian Wilkins around with him. So it was a 5-year extension worth up to $275 million. $200 million is guaranteed. And then it's going to be $55 million annual salary, which is about the same as Joe Burrow. Maybe we did talk about this because I feel like I remember being happy as a Colts fan because I didn't think the Jaguars were going to be doing as much. So I'm not going to go into it as crazy because I actually do think I did talk about this a little bit. But yeah, Trevor Lawrence getting good for him. I think it's a good deal. I mean, for only having one playoff win and getting that much money. He did good by the quarterbacks, and boy, did he do good by himself. No state tax either in Florida. Eee, that's money, boy. But yeah, overall, I think it's not bad for the Jaguars. They haven't had the best quarterbacks recently. He has a really good talent. I think they could potentially have something in him still. I just don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of Trevor Lawrence. Like the football player. I have no issue with Trevor Lawrence, the guy. Trevor Lawrence, a football player, though, there's some stuff I'm not the happiest with him about what that he does. Like his accuracy sometimes on the medium throws. There's other stuff where it just feels like sometimes he just has those, like, I know everyone does occasionally, but he just feels like more often than not, he has those games where he's just absolutely horrendous for whatever reason. It's just like, what are you doing? But overall, I mean, and then it's just the whole Urban Meyer thing. Year one, I feel like set him back a little bit. So overall, I don't think he's the worst quarterback in the world. I think if I had to pick between him and Dak Prescott, that is very tough. I think I would. Man. Trevor Lawrence or Dak Prescott? That's about. Yeah, I'm not even going to answer that. But moving on. Because, yeah, I truly could not tell you, honestly. I think I would say it's Dak. But the more I think about it, I'm like, man, he and Trevor Lawrence are kind of similar, huh? kind of similar, but like I said, shout out to him, though. That's a shit ton of money. Really good deal. Yeah, that just means that the quarterback market just keeps going up, and there's just so much more. Apparently, Mahomes said the Chiefs will push the ball down the field more in 2024. I think that's pretty obvious because we got the Xavier Worthy. Very excited for that. I'm curious to see if it's going to be like Tyreek Hill levels of pushing the ball down the field where it's like almost once or twice a possession. They were throwing a bomb like within the first few plays. It felt like, but we're going to see. I'm curious to see if the Chiefs will be able to three-peat. I'm going to probably bet on it for sure just because it's the Chiefs at this point. And I feel like they just... I mean, I won't lie. They've made me money the last two Super Bowls they've been in. They've made money the last two Super Bowls. Because, yeah, they've won back-to-back. Duh, idiot. So, yeah, I think I'm not going to take them just yet because I already bet on the Colts. But I have a good... They're going to be good. They're going to be good regardless. So I'm already getting myself ready to be on the side of, well, I'll bet on them again. But, man, 80 days, man. I can't wait. It's so close. Alvin Kamara leaves minicamp early due to a contract dispute. Apparently, he and the Saints have been in talks for an extension, but haven't made any progress yet. He has 2 years left on his contract, but $25 million salary in 2025 was structured to force a redo on his deal. So, nice. Curious to see. I'm assuming I actually don't know because of the running back market. It's crazy how just like this is very similar to Todd Gurley. How Kamara had some insane years where he's just good, and he's still great. I would damn near say great, and he's still a really good running back. But last year was kind of like a downish year for him. I kind of blamed Dennis Allen. But yeah, career low, 694 rushing yards, 5 touchdowns, and 13 appearances. He just didn't have the best year last year. He had a really, really weird year for him. I know it's just more than just him. I think it's the Saints in general. My buddy Rones came on and said it. He's not even excited for them this year, and that should tell you something. He's a Saints fan. So I know they got a weird team, but just a weird year for Kamara. So I'm curious if they do keep him around because I think, obviously, there's a chance to let him go because the new thing now, running backs go younger and cheaper. But I don't know. It feels like a guy you don't want to get rid of. The Falcons lose a fifth-round pick for tampering with the Cousins thing. Apparently, they also have to pay a $250,000 fine, but when that comes with the team, that's pretty much like the fifth round. I mean, losing a pick and losing a little bit of money, that does suck, but it's like, I doubt they care less now since they got Kirk Cousins. Yeah, I doubt they care, if anything at all. Patriots had Tom Brady has jersey retired because he won't be able to do it in season, so he'll be broadcasting. That was a really cool moment, it seemed like. From the clips and things, it all seemed like it was a really cool moment. Shout out to Tom Brady. Chiefs, Jones, Kelsey and I need to retire together, is what he said. Kelsey, here we go. This is what, he's got like 4 or 5 more years. Oh, here we go. This is from, sorry, I was trying to figure who this is from. This is from Chris Jones. He's got like 4 or 5 more years, and what's he talking about, right? He's like, we can't let Kelsey go. It's like, we retire, we've got to retire together. Give me at least 4 years, then we'll talk about it. So, it seems like at least Kelsey's probably going to play for about 4 more years, I would say. So, about 4 years from now, it'll be 4 years from now, I will say we'll be down to the last 1 to 3 years. But I would say we at least got about 3 to 4 left, unless a serious injury happens. Vikings, Kevin O'Connell said Darnold ahead of McCarthy in the QB competition. We haven't put together a depth chart or anything like that, but I would say Sam would be the guy I would look to start, O'Connell said, which makes sense because McCarthy, at the quarterback position, look, we're really excited about Sam. He's like, I've had a lot of the same feelings that you did about Sam coming out. Really kept a close eye on him throughout his quarterback journey, and all quarterback journeys are the same. I actually am kind of curious if Sam Darnold. I mean, Sam Darnold getting paired with Justin Jefferson can only do him better. I think this is going to be one of the best chances that he has in his career. This is pretty much, I'm not going to say, probably damn near his last chance. I'm not going to say this is going to be his year. I'm going to cheer on Sam and be like, yep, Sam Darnold's definitely going to figure it out this year, but I just feel like this is going to be his best chance, if any, to figure it out. Kevin O'Connell's a great offensive mind. I'm excited to see what, between him and J.J. McCarthy, I'm just excited to see who ends up being the starter and who ends up taking it over after the season, or if Sam Darnold's able to finish it all out. I genuinely have no clue. I would assume we're going to see J.J. McCarthy at one point, but let's see. Henry excited not to be the center of attention next to Lamar. It definitely brings a different aspect because he's a dual-threat quarterback. He's dangerous with his legs, which will be even better for Derrick Henry because the defense won't be able to focus on him as much. That's going to be a nasty backfield. Derrick Henry and ooh, man, I just can't. Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson in the backfield. Now, that's disgusting. The only thing that could be better, Anthony Richardson, Jonathan Taylor, and Derrick Henry. I wish, if the Colts would have got him, dude. I know, obviously, probably not, but that would have been disgusting. Colts Richardson, playing in the NFL is easier than college. Despite playing in the NFL, I feel like it's easier than in college. In college, you got players that are good. They know they're good, but they're not as confident. They've got to rely on other players to do this for them and do that. But in the league, everybody trying to work to stay in the league and try to keep their job. That's just let me know. Oh, here we go. Sorry, let me retry that. That just let me know I ain't got to do too much. I'm going to do my job, and he's going to do his job, and it's going to work. I won't lie, for only playing 4 games, that is very wild to say, but I definitely do get where he's coming from. Because I immediately thought of it like, oh, he means it where he doesn't have to focus on school or anything. And he can just focus on playing football and that's it. But he does have a point to that, though. There's some people where it's like, yes, they can be good players, but the second they get on the field, it's like, well, I don't know if I'm going to make this play, so I hope this guy next to me makes this play. Or they'll get to the point where they just give up on the play. It's like, man, I hope somebody else makes a play. I'm out of the play. Versus the NFL, it's like, no, I got to make this play or I'm going to get cut. And it's like, yeah, I mean, I get him for that point. I do agree with him at that point. He didn't say the NFL, playing quarterback in the NFL is easier. He just said the NFL is easier to college when it came to that point. I'm assuming this was pulled out of context from somewhere. But a little bit at least. But I do agree. I I do agree with him at that point. I think he's right because, yeah, in college, there's a lot more, too, that guys are focusing on, too, because especially, he's talking about the D1 level. Imagine this at, like, the NAIA, that, like, I played at, the D2, D3 levels. For those guys to end up making it to the league from that level. But he's exactly right, because there's some guys, especially in college, too, there's some guys that are just not focused. Like, they have confidence, but they're also, the reason they're confident is because of the partying and everything they want to do after. It's like, yeah, I'm going to try to play good to do this, but versus the NFL, it's like, I'm playing good for us to win, for this to do this, for me to do. It's like, it's a whole difference. So I generally do get where he's coming from. So I don't blame him for that at all, for that thinking. Wilson feels revived in every way by the Steelers. I would not be shocked. I would not be shocked if Sean Payton and him just did not get along at all and just everything went wrong with that. Cortland Sutton is stuck in a stalemate with the Broncos amid contract negotiations. We are at a stalemate in a sense, but I have confidence and faith that thing will be done. I just feel bad for Cortland Sutton, man. He's a stud. And he just has been getting screwed with bad quarterback after bad quarterback after mediocre quarterback after mediocre quarterback. Hopefully he can finally get a guy that, I mean, he's still been really good in a stud, but hopefully he can get an elite guy around him who can get. Because just imagine him with like an Aaron Rodgers, with a Patrick Mahomes, anybody like that. It'd be really, really awesome. But, Marshall Lattimore remains committed to the Saints after trade speculation. He's like, I've got to be here. I've got to be present. I'm not thinking about whether I'm going to get traded or nothing like that. I don't really care, to be honest. Hey, I respect him, man. He's keeping his head focused and everything, which I don't blame him. I would, because, yeah, you might as well focus on just this season. Because personally, for me, I feel like if this is a bad year for the Saints, I don't know. Contract-wise, they might not be able to, but we're getting really close to blow it up and restart everything again here soon. Because, I don't lie, so far I don't think the Dennis Allen experiments work too much with him as head coach. And especially with Derek Carr, Derek Carr quarterback, I don't think that combo's been the best. And that's probably going to do it for today. That's actually the end of the NFL news. Not too much more to talk about. And then the NFL world. I might have missed some small stuff, but I'll try to add it back to the list if I did going into Thursday. But yeah. Man. Crazy. It's crazy the NFL's this close. Pretty much I just can't wait, man. It's just every day now is actually going to be slowly me just realizing, like, all right, NFL's here. Let's start loading up. Let's start doing this. So be on the lookout on Stay Down Sports. I'll admit, I've been slacking a little bit on the articles. I've just been I'm going to be honest with you. I've just been enjoying the summer. Been a somewhat busy month with me with some other stuff on the side. So I've just been able to enjoy the few moments I get outside of everything I've been busy with. So we're going to start locking back in here soon because it's about to be football season here soon. So we're going to start banging out some articles and stuff. Get betting articles out here soon. Got future articles hopefully going to be coming out within the next few weeks that I'm slowly going to start cooking up and working on. I'm excited. Stay on sports. Hopefully we'll be growing a little bit more along with me. Fun plans for the NFL season that we're working on. Not 100% sure if they'll be done by then, but hopefully at least through the football season we'll be able to get some of them done. But, man, 80 days. 79 to 80 days and 10 weeks for college football. I can't wait, man. I'm so excited. It's going to be a great one. But yeah, shout out to the Celtics again for winning the national championship. We got the Florida Panthers tonight. They look to close it out. If they close it out, then we're pretty much into the full stretch of wins football coming back. Thank you all for watching. Thanks for all the support. Really do appreciate it. I will see everybody back in this feed on Thursday for some more NFL talk, a little bit of WNBA talk, and potentially some hockey talk.